All the best Saturday morning kids TV had elements which appealed to the adults lounging round on their days off, be it Trevor and Simon on Going Live, pretty much all of Dick and Dom in the Bungalow, or female presenters the dads fancied. Tiswas straddled that generational line perfectly, with an anarchic unpredictability which sees it regularly requested in my comments, though for some reason I've never covered it. Tiswas seemed a natural fit for a grown-up spin-off, and in 1982, most of the cast abandoned the morning version for a late-night sequel titled OTT, Over the Top. It aired live on Saturday nights, some 12 hours after those from the final series of Tiswas, which had been left in the hands of Sally James and a new selection of hosts. Hopping across to the other side of the watershed were Lenny Henry, Helen Atkinson Wood, John Gorman, Bob Carolgees, and television's most insincere man, Chris Tarrant. The concept for OTT was essentially a rude Tiswas, where all the winking asides and innuendo could come out of the shadows, like a post-sundown Live and Kicking where Andy Peters showed some hole. A monumental disaster, OTT lasted just 13 episodes, cancelled in a meeting which, legend states, left Tarrant so enraged he shattered the glass in a door with a violent slamming. But ITV compromised, offering a cut-down retooling of the show with a massively reduced budget and pre-recorded. Under such constraints, to keep the rowdy tone, they switched from a TV studio to filming entirely on location in a pub, under the guise of an illegal late-night lock-in, hence the title, Saturday's Stayback. Its theme was by Roy Wood, with Robert Crumb-like bullet nipples in the opening title sequence letting you know, this show's for big boys. This is the purest, you don't have to be mad to work here, I'm a black belt in origami, keep taking the tablets, 80s bants.
Underwater chicken sexers, rissole tamers and blancmange jugglers.
It's quite the cast, with Tarrant, Carolgees, Slattery, Atkinson Wood and Phil Cool, who you'll know from loads of other stuff, and Suzanne Sinclair and Timothy Davis, who you won't. Plus guest stars like Benny from Crossroads. No, really.
Don't touch that!
We've seen some right turd sketch shows together, haven't we? Keith Harris, Copycats, Davro and Abbott and 321. Believe me, I don't say this lightly. Stayback might be the worst of the lot. If you saw material like this on the Little and Large show, you'd think, blimey, Sid and Eddie have really hit a new low. Just the most rancid comedy you've ever seen. I mean, here's Benny from Crossroads in a Red Baron helmet as an inventor of invisibility pills.
Oh, well, you see, I've got proof. There.
What's that?
That's Tiddles, my pet cat. Now look what he's invisibly piddled down my leg.
Hold on, what decade was this again? Ah, yes.
You're a nutter, you're from an asylum, you've
The men in white coats have come to take me away. Like OTT, and the very reason that show failed, Stayback's adult nature is a misnomer, rather than the time slot allowing them to do things they previously couldn't. To push a bit further, it's all about showing off how grown up they are, the way teenage boys do, by going on about beer and sex.
Marvellous atmosphere here at the Dom tonight. Bloke over here just said to me, I'm going to go out tonight and get really B-day hugging drunk.
You know Tarrant's a right lad because of all the pints he necks. This is from one episode.
Here, barman, taste this beer, it's off. Come on.
Now there's nothing wrong with that.
Like TFI Friday, The punters are at it too.
Oh! Oh!
And as for sex...
This isn't going to work, is it?
I go like a steam hammer in bed.
And I've got a massive plonker.
Plonker. Does any word date a specific era so strongly? Predominantly, this is a historical period when all anyone talked about were penises, but solely in twee, massively unsexy slang.
A leg warmer on my wedding tackle!
And sensual.
Oh, yes.
Uninhibited.
Of course.
Passionate.
Oh, definitely.
With a 10-inch willy.
Oh, shit.
I always get the bits where she knees me in the tackle box.
British people didn't fuck back then. They bonked with their dangly bits. 2 downward turned feet moving up and down betwixt 2 upward turned feet, as seen on the covers of funny stocking filler books about relationships. A bit of the old, how's your father? Obsessed with rumpy pumpy, sketches are mild variations on a theme, dragging a double bed in the pub every week to make the same gags about premature ejaculation and whatnot.
I'm sorry, darling.
It doesn't matter.
Imagine you get the freedom of late-night television only to spend it repeatedly showing a shirtless, post-coital Bob Carroll G's. And if Gen Z think there's too many sex scenes in movies, they'd have conniptions at Saturday Stayback, where everyone's always getting off with each other. Mucky blighters.
I don't feel like it either, darling.
This is a job for sex therapy man.
Just a minute. Where do I fit into all this?
You're right. Perhaps this is a job for...
Crumpet woman!
Oh, wow. Oh, yes.
Even Benny from Crossroads gets some. There's none of the chaotic energy of Tiswas, and though the setting's meant to give an air of lawlessness, it feels like a restaurant improv group doing sketches while you're trying to eat. This is what really separates them from other bad sketch shows. What if, instead of doing our terrible dreck at Television Centre, we did it in a public place, and the whole time there's the sound of punters murmuring away?
Full stop. Y. K. And L.
Sometimes the audience do you a favour by chattering so loudly you can barely hear what's going on.
Good evening. I'd like to tell you about the new Weirdo Video Library. Home entertainment for all the family. Action-packed films like The Brentford Brain Eater. Recalling horrors you witness realistic scenes of escaped maniac.
In such a cramped space, performers are literally trying not to step on the toes of the audience, none of whom know what to do with their faces, aware at all times of being on camera. They say don't ever turn your back on the audience. This poor sod's trying not to turn his back on the actors. It's always more fun watching the crowd than Carol G's with his shirt off again, or Slattery going on another rant.
Sex makes me bilious. Can you imagine the scene I'm setting? Bottles of wine and some heavy petting.
A film crew rocks up with some celebrities, and you're so bored you end up talking amongst yourselves. Just wipe me nose, give it a quick look, and rub it on me shirt. This fella speaks for us all.
Do I care? Do you care? Does God care?
Ugh, only came here to get away from the ball and chain for an hour. A few pints, packet of pork scratchings, empty me todger in the bogs. Me trouser snake, the old meat and 2 veg. I got a willy.
Jesus was a black woman.
Sometimes they end up looking like henchmen to a northern gangland boss. I'll give you a fucking bit of bully, son.
There was all that money. You were talking to God on the big white telephone with the seat up. Oh, God, do you remember that?
I do, actually.
Talking to God on the great white telephone.
Occasionally it's fast show-esque. Definitely not in quality, but the speed at which it moves.
Honestly, the pub here, I said, could I have a pint with a head on it?
Beethoven, is that really your own hair?
Of course it's my own hair. Look, it's got my name in it.
I mean, this is a sketch. So's this.
What's yours?
Do you know, I've absolutely no idea.
Other stuff goes on way too long, with sub-vaudeville shite, characters confusing one word for another.
No, right at the lights.
Right at the lights.
And it's on your left.
Right.
No, left. Look, it's down here. Down here to the lights just there.
Yeah, then...
Then you turn right.
Right.
Right. And it's on your left. Right. Right. No, you're right.
God, I wish I was dead. In another episode, they treat us to the bloopers.
He goes down here.
Left at the lights, sorry.
No, right at the lights.
Right.
And he says right, and I say no,
Okay,
it's on your left.
Sorry, I beg your pardon.
It's newspaper cartoon level humour, revolving around hacky old Battle of the Sexes guff.
So what? My husband believes in having casual sex. He doesn't. Yes. Sometimes he's that casual you don't realise he's doing it.
Wives and nagging old harridans. Blokes are all shagging their secretaries.
I only woke up at 4 o'clock this morning, went into the bathroom and tripped over you screwing the au pair girl on the landing.
And bloody love massive knockers.
But the whammers on that barmaid are the size of watermelons.
I mean, there will be boobs galore. There will be boobs the size of bloody pumpkins. Can you imagine? I mean, enormous bloody whammers. Whammers beamed worldwide, enormous great jubblies flopping about all over the place. Mammary glands going everywhere. Great tits swinging from side to side.
Kevin here's got a particularly interesting theory about that particular lady's very large whammers.
Yeah, they make her skin so young looking, you see, because the sheer weight of them pulls all the wrinkles out of her face.
But don't worry, you still get all the hoary old sketch show settings. Football manager, hospital beds, doctor's surgeries, restaurants, dating agencies.
Excuse me, miss. Excuse me, miss. Are you from the Opposites Attract Dating Bureau by any chance?
You're not intelligent and handsome of Harrogate.
Nigel.
And I know it's a bit rich coming from me, but they really are obsessed with peni.
Here, Mavis, what's this I hear about your husband having a vasectomy?
I did it myself when I found him in bed with a barmaid.
Vasectomy, it only take a minute or maybe 3.
Every week there's a guest comic firing off gags at the bar.
Fella caught a bloke in bed with his wife and he pulled out his shotgun.
Nice clean story. This Irish fellow was making love to a princess and he burnt his balls on the exhaust pipe.
My brother got a brand new glass eye.
Simply switching the L's and R's when imitating a Chinaman isn't enough for Bernard, who just chucks a load of L's any old where.
Little Chinese magician came on stage, a little dicky bird in a cage. He says, clicky bird in the cage, put the cloth on the cage, clee-cly, clicky-clo, cloo-cly-clo, to the cloth from the cage, where's the clicky bird gone? Somebody shouted, it must have clucked off.
When Norman Collier shows up, you're praying he gives his broken mic to Chris Tarrant.
Have you heard this here? I've got 15 saxophones. They're all saxed.
Good God, he says. What do you want me to do about that? This fella said, could you take the pain away, but will you leave the swelling?
This is slap bang in the era of alternative comedy, but few bits here fit that genre, one being Trevor James's weekly angry man in pyjamas routine.
Better breakfast! Better bleeding lunatics!
He previously replaced Carol G's on the last series of Tiswas, alongside a puppet parrot.
Don't talk to me about sausage rolls! She's on a course, right? Cooking for beginners. Why don't you cut the lawn? I'll tell you why I don't cut the lawn. It grows again. What is the bleeding point?
The easiest way to get a laugh in the 80s.
He's a brat.
Back then you didn't even need a punchline. You could just say a job like insurance salesman or chartered accountant.
Luke, what's that cinema you want to see so badly?
Oh, it's that really new sci-fi film about an extraterrestrial that visits our planet from outer space. SB, the stockbroker.
Along the alternative line, there is resident comedy singer Kevin Ceesay.
Hortense loves Adolf Hitler.
It's those two sides of alternative comedy. Stuff like Rick and Aid, which was great, and then characters who yell all the time, and blokes with guitars doing overly wordy comedy songs.
Of Ramji Ram, the Indian man, beware 'cause he's a killer. He plants exploding chapatis 'cause he's a turban gorilla.
Again, the audience are absolutely not into it. Sometimes you forget how many tashes there were in the 80s. They were everywhere, not even different styles. Where Bobby Ball led, a nation of men followed. It is at least interesting getting these early performances from comics who went on to greater success. Slattery's only 23 here, and a wild presence, with a role of delivering shouty rants, or the sort of physical exertion Tarrant and Carol G's couldn't provide.
Okay, Tom, let's go for it. All right. It's a biggie. It's a biggie. Okay. Get down. Get up. Boogie.
Oh, yes, just like all the others, leading men on, and then when they got what they wanted, screaming rain,
yes.
rain,
Come
rain.
on.
And another thing, if Jilly Stamper thinks she can sway the jury by fluttering those false eyelashes at them, with those firm, ripe young buttocks, and those tight little breasts.
Phil Cool doesn't get to do much, mostly relegated to the usual.
She's learning the garden,
We do get to drink in the comedic range of Chris Tarrant, though it's a shame he doesn't do his incredibly accurate Obama impression.
You know, Obama, I love curry, Obama.
As for Carol G's, he seems a bit lost without Spit the Dog, as he's constantly shaking this bloody doll about, like an ex-smoker who's always chewing on a pen. There's an uncredited cameo by Dave Lee Travis, and Hale and Pace show up, as part of early comedy troupe Fundation.
It's the alphabet song, yes!
A is for the alcohol, I always fill it all. B is for the booze, and I want more.
Though all I can think about is how much whittling he'd be doing when it's over. Hale does another turn as German country and western singer Hank von Schweinhund.
That's Dolly Parton's tits.
Though the musical guests are of surprising quality, with Leslie Crowther's son-in-law.
Oh, yeah, here they are. Thin Lizzy.
Susie Quattro, and the great Chaz and Dave, plus Rocky Sharp and the Replays.
Not a lot of people know that!
There's even a supergroup of Lynott, ELO's Bev Bevan, Roy Wood and Chaz Hodges, but only after... But these are rare breaks between the sketches.
Excuse me, darling, is that one dead?
Yes.
Mind if I take it?
No, help yourself.
Thanks very much, thanks.
Though most of it's aged poorly, one running bit's matured like a fine wine.
Under the shade of a curly-bar tree.
Other gags are just timeless.
The only thing I can do is to apply the Prince Andrew strategy.
Verzoi, vernunster!
Notable credited writers for the series include Angus Deaton, Maury Hunter and Jack Doherty, Harry Enfield, Renwick and Marshall, and Kim Fuller. Though if I'd written any of this, you could drill into my teeth with a corkscrew and I'd never confess.
Where were you on the night of the 25th? Who is the Berlin contact? What is the significance of the Don't Resist Me? What is the significance of the code word Romford?
What is going on here, Sergeant?
Sorry, sir, just grilling the bacon, sir.
Making it to the final episode was like conquering Everest in my bare feet. That hardest geezer bloke's got no idea. So what are they up to now?
Shut up, listen!
Oh right, boozing, bonking, getting off with each other.
There's a black fella having a slash with this white man, you see. He said, my God, he said, that's a tidy length. How'd you get it that big?
I'm tired.
Are you the manager? Yes. Well, why the hell don't British Rail serve better food in their buffet cars and restaurants?
So tired. I want to go home.
He said, it's mine, I'll wash it as fast as I like.
Saturday Stayback is an 80s you don't often see. A grim portrait of the era. The truth beneath the romanticised neon and thumping synthwave. Peeling it back to reveal brown wallpaper and brown cardigans under yellow ceilings. The stink of smoke coming through the screen. And a world which revolves around randy, ineffectual office men. Bonking secretaries with their plonkers.
Happy birthday to you. Your wife's heard you screw that Lorna at the sauna, so this will teach you. Ah!
Done about a lock in. Everyone involved should have been locked up.
The Dog, of course, in the Midlands, a very well-known pub for picking up girls. What they don't tell you is how bloody heavy they are. What is going on? The world's gone mad!